So on today's episode of Taking My Umbrella, I've got my friend called Ashley, and I'm going to be asking him questions like what it's been like for him, if he can give a situation where he's been in a negative situation, how it felt for him to take back his power, what did it feel like, and if he can give any words of encouragement to people that are similar situations. So thank you, Ashley, for joining me on my podcast.
Thank you again, Chidi, for inviting me.
So can you give the listeners an example of a situation where you felt like your power was taken away from you?
Situation is a long time ago, but it's the most prominent one that I can think of at this time. Basically, I had a friend when I went to disabled boarding college back in 2005 to 2008. Within that 3 year period, so I would have been 16 when I started, and I was 19 when I left there. Just had friends and influences that were sort of managed to take my power away from me in terms of me making the right decisions for me and for my well-being. There was a number of situations where I definitely would change the choices that I made because they were mistakes that I made, and I have to, and even back then I had to take responsibility for them, for the outcome, for the results that ultimately came about. But basically, I wasn't strong enough as a person at the time to say no to people in general at that time. I didn't feel strong enough within myself to say no to people because I didn't really want to let people down and things like that. And it was actually said in my college report a few times that I struggled to say no to certain people, and that was my situation where my power was taken away from me.
So what? So how did you find the courage to say no? And when you did say, and when you finally said no to those certain people, how did that make you feel?
Well, I made a conscious decision going into my final year. I think I was have been about 18 at the time, to just part ways with certain people, and I just made that decision in the summertime, going into my last year of college at the time. And I just said, you know what, time for me to take back my power. It's time for me to address these situations and part ways with certain people. And obviously, when I had the conversation with these people, didn't receive it well. But I knew I was doing the right thing, and I managed to get one of my other friends to part ways with this person as well, because it wasn't healthy for either of us, and there was a bunch of people that was affected by the situation I was in and other people were in. So it wasn't just me; it was other people as well.
So like when you took back your power, did they try and insert you back again?
Yeah, definitely within that time. But I just made a decision at that time that we're two different people and we're going in two different directions, and I just can't have certain people around me in my circle tapping my energy away from me. And that's the conscious decision that I made at the time.
So for anyone that is going through a similar circumstance, or what would your advice be to them?
I think what my advice would be to those people, I would say that you have to reach a point where you are comfortable with saying no to someone. And a lot of the time saying no, you might have to hurt a few people, you might have to get people within their feelings, but at the end of the day, if that's making you feel better when you are able to retrospectively just see situation better with those people that are not entering your world or not in your life, then you know you're doing the right thing, even though it might hurt the people that you're saying no to or you're ending a friendship with.
Well, thank you very much, Ashley, for doing this podcast.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Bye.
All right, bye.